What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to talk about the difference between being a solo freelancer and hiring a team and building an agency, and which of the two is going to make you the most money. And the answer is the agency route is going to make you the most money. So that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Whoa. Before you click away, while it is true that the earning potential of an agency is much greater, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's right for you or that you will make more money as an agency. I've seen a lot of people that make the jump from freelancer to agency and they hate their life and they end up making less money because there is a lot of different things that go in to running an agency. For example, as a solo freelancer, you have very little financial responsibility. And basically, you just have to worry about earning enough money to pay your own bills, and that's it. There's no risk and no responsibility beyond that. Now, on the side of an agency, there is a lot more financial responsibility that goes into it because, of course, you have a ton more overhead. You have employees, you have to pay salaries. And so there's a lot of pressure on you to not only keep your business running, but earn enough to pay you and your team members. So there are a lot of different things like this that you need to consider when deciding whether or not you want to stay a solo freelancer or whether you want to start hiring a team and building an agency. So before we get any further into this video, I'd like you to comment down below which model you're currently using. Comment freelancer if you're a solo freelancer, or comment agency if you currently are running with the agency model. All right, so my hope is that by the end of this video, you understand all of the pros and cons to both the freelance model and the agency model, and so you can decide which of them is right for you. Plus, at the end of this video, I'm going to talk to you about the earning potential of both and how much you can make as a freelancer versus how much you can make as an agency owner. So let's get into it. So the first thing that you need to understand are the limitations to how much you can earn in both scenarios. Now, first, as a freelancer, you are limited by how much you can make by the amount of time you have in a given day, right? Because you are by yourself and you can only accomplish so much work in the day. So if you want to make more money, of course, you can increase your rates and charge more for every project. But in the end, you're always going to be limited by how much time you have in the day, especially considering that as a solo freelancer, you're literally doing everything by yourself. So not only are you doing client fulfillment, but you're also doing all of your marketing and sales calls and paperwork and invoicing and everything that goes into running a business. So you're always going to be fairly limited on how much money you can earn. Now, on the other hand, when you're running an agency model, you're really not limited by how much time you have in the day because you can continually hire more and more employees and basically multiply yourself and multiply your time so you can accomplish more in the day. So really the only limitation that you have is the number of clients that you can land because, of course, if you don't have the clientele, it makes no sense to hire team members because there's only so much work that you need to do. But it is nice to not have any limitations on how quickly you can scale. And I found that with my agency that as we get more clients, we can continually hire more people. And as long as I manage my margins and how much we're making versus how much I have to pay my team, the sky is the limit in terms of how much money I can make. Now, another important thing to consider is I've seen a lot of solo freelancers that make a lot of money. I know some very well that make multiple six figures, but it's always a struggle for them because all of the client fulfillment falls upon them. So that means that you can't afford to get sick, you can't afford to go on vacations because if you're not doing the work's just not getting done. Now, on the other hand, when it comes to running an agency, as you hire good people and train them up and teach them what to do, then basically your agency does all of the fulfillment on its own and you don't have to do that, meaning that if you train your people right, you can afford to leave on vacation or take days off or even get sick. That is something that I learned very quickly here a couple months ago when I went through chemotherapy for cancer. I wasn't able to work for 6 months. And I was very grateful that I was running the agency model because luckily all the client fulfillment continued to get done without me. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, hey, I like the idea of running an agency because I don't have to do any work. And unfortunately, that's not really the case, especially not at first, because you have all of the pressure to fill your pipeline with new clients so you can afford to pay yourself and your team members. And so when I started with the agency model and hiring a team, I felt a ton of pressure, and I literally had to work twice as hard to make sure that we had enough clients to fill our time. So it is going to be a lot of work. It's not going to be easy, but as you continually hire good people and train them right, and then if you can find a really consistent way to generate clients, you will reach the point where the agency doesn't rely as much on you. And then you can take a step back and either take time off, or in my case, what I like to do is look for new ways to grow and scale and land new clients and diversify our incomes and our services and improve the business overall. So we're starting to see that both of these roles definitely have their pros and cons. And what we need to talk about now is which of these is right for you, because there's no question that each of these roles or scenarios requires a different type of personality. It takes a certain type of person to want to do all of the fulfillment themselves and not take on any risk or additional stress. It also takes a certain type of person to hire and train a team and run an agency. And so what I want to do here is pull up a couple differences between the two so you can decide which is right for you. So when it comes to being a solo freelancer, if you like to do all of the actual fulfillment, if you're really passionate, like in my case, if you're really passionate about designing and building websites, then being a solo freelancer might be the best option for you. On the reverse side, as an agency owner, if you prefer to oversee fulfillment and you're more passionate about growing a business or leading or training, and you don't necessarily like the actual fulfillment or work yourself, then the agency model might be right for you. Now, if you like to work alone, the freelance model is probably right for you. On the other hand, if you like to work with others, if you enjoy having other people around you, if you enjoy working in a team setting, then the agency model is going to be a great fit. Now, if you like to keep things as simple as possible and to control all aspects of your business, to keep things very small and lean, then you're probably the type that needs to stay a solo freelancer. However, if you like to delegate and train others to run the business, and if you were able to kind of relinquish that control and give it to others, then running an agency is going to be a great fit for you. Now, in my scenario, for the first about year and a half to 2 years, I ran my business as a solo freelancer. I did all of the fulfillment myself. I filled all of the roles and wore all of the hats. And in about the first year, I got super burnt out. And I very quickly realized that I was not going to be able to sustain that business model long term, especially not for the next 30, 40, 50 years. And so that was a big sign to me that I needed to make the transition to the agency model. And when I made my first hire, when I hired my first team member, that was the best decision I ever made. And it was a breath of fresh air when I could finally step back and start focusing on other ways to grow my business. And so if you feel like you were in that scenario where you're starting to get burnout from the actual work, now is the time to make the switch. So we've made it to the end of this video, and now I want to talk about how much you can make in each different scenario. Now, I'm taking this data from some surveys that I've done within my private Facebook group that has thousands of members. And what I've seen is, as a freelancer, the average revenue typically falls between $40,000 and $60,000 per year. Now remember, this is the average, and it is possible to earn a lot more than that. Now, as an agency owner, as you start to hire a team and turn yourself into an actual agency, your average income is going to bump up and be somewhere between $130,000 and $160,000 per year. So it is a significant increase when you make that jump, and if you can successfully navigate the agency model, you can earn a lot more money. Now, the last thing that I want to say before I wrap up this video is I don't want you to feel trapped and like you have to decide between either one or the other. Because the cool thing about these two models is you can find a hybrid between the two that works right for you. For example, I know a lot of people that run more of a solo freelancer operation, but they also have built relationships with other freelancers where they can outsource when they get too busy or when they leave on vacation. And so you don't have to hire full-time employees and pay them a salary to build a good team around yourself. And so as you grow and as you scale, find the right model for you, even if it is a hybrid between doing things by yourself or hiring a team. And you're gonna find the perfect strategy for your business to where you love what you do, you are able to choose your hours and work when you wanna work and earn as much as you want to earn. So that's it for this video. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to my channel. I've got new videos like this one coming out every single week. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.